Welcome back, everybody. As always, let me check this with another device. I did log into another account already, so I'm halfway there. Oh, I see it. Back, everybody. Okie dokie. All right, y'all. So we're a little late. It's just I'm just late. I don't know. I'm just late. Anywho, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to my channel and just this is the first video you're watching. Welcome. If you're an old subscriber, an old viewer, first off, if you're an old viewer and you're not subscribed, I don't know why, go ahead and subscribe. But yeah, if you're new to my channel, I hope that you enjoy this video. If you're an old viewer, old subscriber, welcome back. Okay, my name is Tiana. I do all things hair on this channel. I do a bunch of other different stuff too, but following my micro lock journey, other lock journeys, I like to do that on this channel. Kind of give you hair tips, kind of give you head wrap ideas, styles, a little bit of sewing, a little bit of singing, a little bit of DIY projects, you know, all that fun stuff. But yes, mainly the focus is on my micro lock journey and hair in general. So I am a licensed cosmetologist. So yes, so Wednesday, I just went through my story of what made me become a stylist, a cosmetologist in the first place. Let me just recap that because, yeah, because that video, for whatever reason, the internet was going in and out or something, and so it's a little glitchy. But I hope you still watch that one. It is a lot of good stuff in there, and yeah, a little bit of background story. All right, so to recap and to try to give you everything in a nutshell, I was saying how for those of you who don't know, I come from a large family. So I have 9 brothers and sisters, and I am the third, which makes me, you know, I'm the beginning of my parents' parenthood, right? And my mom was a tomboy, so she wasn't really into hair. And then to make matters worse, I have really peculiar hair. And with that being said, I saw as a child, I could see how they were struggling with it, like trying to figure out what to do with it. And at the time, I had relaxers like every other little black girl. And it really was not good for my hair. My hair, like, it did not thrive. It was not healthy. It was not good at all. And so I figured, well, maybe my hair was just not meant to grow out or to be long. So the least I could do is style it. So I learned how to style my own hair. Yes, I learned how to style my own hair. And at the time, I did some weave styles because that was kind of like a big thing too, like the braids, the box braids, the micro locks, all that kind of stuff. And cornrows was really big too. So I did some of those styles for myself, for my sisters, for my friends. I was just doing everybody's hair that would let me do their hair. And I was really, really good at braids. I was really good at braids because I am able to grip things kind of tightly. And so yeah, I was good at braids and doing like designer braids type thing. And so yeah, when I went to high school, I had the option of going to either cosmetology to learn about hair, skin, and nails, or to go to childhood studies. And I chose cosmetology because I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but I also figured if I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone type of thing, like if I can get something under my belt before I went to college, then I could work in that profession while I'm in college. So I decided to, thank God, to go get my cosmetology license while I was in high school, and then I used that as a stream of income while I was in college to help me with all of my college expenses and all that fun stuff. And because I love to do it, that was great as well. So yeah, so I went natural. I mean, I had my hairstyling license by the time I was graduating high school, by the time I was 18. So that was nice, and I did get to work in a hair salon when I was 16. My best friend at the time, she got me into a hair salon, and I worked there, and I learned a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of how I got started with doing hair. Just kind of watching people struggle with mine and figuring out, you know what, no, I got to figure this out myself because if I leave it to other people, it's not going to work out. All right, so let's get into why I went natural. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, y'all. Thumbs up, subscribe if you do enjoy the content. But yes, why did I go natural? All right, let's see. Okay, like I said, was working in a hair salon when I was 16 and loved it for a long time, and then I started to not like it, but I loved it at first. I was working at a hair salon, and I don't know if we were in between clients. Either we were in between clients, like waiting for clients to come in, or a lot of clients were under the dryer, so there wasn't nothing for us to do right at the moment, one way or another. So when I had some downtime, I would go on a computer, and I did some of the computer stuff for us. I don't even know what it was, but I think because I was the youngest one, it was like, you go figure out the computer technology stuff. I don't know. So I would do stuff on a computer all the time. And so all my accounts was on a computer. So my email, I think, was on the computer. And I don't know if I got an email that was promoting it, or if I happened to be just searching on the computer, just searching up hair stuff. But one way or another, I came across this book called Grow It Long. And I was trying to find the cover for the book for you all, but I didn't get it in time. But hopefully I will show it, because honestly, I think it will be good for me to read that book or go over that book on this channel, because it really gave a really good foundation for natural hair. Like, excellent. And at the time, so I saw it and I read it. I didn't read it, but I read the synopsis of it, what it was going to be about. And yeah, so it seemed like a good book, and it was free. And it was a free ebook. So I went and I got it, downloaded it, and then I started reading it. And the stuff in there was just so good. Like I said, I was already struggling with my hair anyway. And when I became a hairstylist, I learned how to style it really well, but I did not learn how to care for it. I just learned how to style it, but not really how to care for it. And it was doing a little better, but I guess I wanted it to do even better than what it was doing. So I started reading a book, and it was just like an eye-opener for me. So like I said, when I became a hairstylist, at the time, I knew how to, I knew how to do weave everything, okay? So I was weaving up everything. Like, I knew how to do it, and stuff that was new at the time, I would just teach myself how to do it, and I would figure it out. But I have always had this feeling of like, man, what is the point of wearing weave if you have to take it out, and then when you take it out, you're not proud of what you have underneath it? Like, I didn't want to be wearing weave and feel like I only feel pretty, or I only look normal if I have some type of weave in. Like, that was always an issue for me. So even though I knew how to do different hairstyles, and some I did do in my natural hair, but I was good at weaves too. So even though I didn't knew how to do it, it was like, I just didn't want to be dependent on wearing weaves. Like, I just didn't. I didn't want to have to wear sewing or wear the box braids or the micro locks. Like, I mean, not the micro locks, the micros. Like, I didn't want to have to do it. I wanted to be like an optional thing, but not something I feel like I had to do in order to get dolled up. So I was always trying to look for ways to work on my own hair, because that's what I really wanted to wear in the first place. All right, so reading that book though just made it possible to have to be black and have beautiful, healthy, and long hair. And so that book also I really liked, because it gave you natural ways to care for your hair. Like, it taught you how to make your own shampoos and your own conditioners, and it talked about deep treatments and protein treatments and moisture treatments and what was a humectant, like all of these things that you should know. And you should know, especially if you're caring for your own hair. And talked about all of these things, but the root of it was that relaxers was obviously a chemical. Hey girl, that relaxers was obviously a chemical. I'm talking about our book, Grow It Long. So it was, letting them know that relaxers are a chemical, and it really was not good for your hair. Now, oh, thank you, girl. Now, I was learning about relaxers in class, of course. I was learning about it in cosmetology, and I did learn some things about relaxers, like exactly what part of your hair, how it was breaking a certain bond, and it could never be repaired, and that's how our hair was able to stay straight. And I did learn how to apply relaxers correctly so that it wouldn't be as damaging to my hair. So I was getting better and learning how to use relaxers in a safer way. But this book was really pushing for, you know what? Don't put chemicals in your hair, and no kind of chemicals, not just relaxers, but like colors too. Like, let your hair be as natural as possible. And it was also pushing for use the most natural as possible products that you can. So that is what jump started me about, you know what, maybe I should do more research and learn a little bit more about being natural. So I was reading the book and loving it. And okay, so I tried to read this book when I was a little older, and it does like have like a lot of grammatical errors in it, but the message in it is still good. And for a free book, it was very informative, and I just suggest that everybody read it. Like, I think it was a good book, and it really teaches you about natural hair. But yes, oh man, I had a thought, but I lost it. But yes, so I was reading the book, and then I passed it to my sister. Like, I was kind of telling my sister about it, and she started reading it. And like I said, her and I are the oldest, so we kind of were able to go through things before my younger sisters and kind of, you know, fill things out and see what was good or what wasn't good for things such as our hair. So when she read it, she was like, oh yeah, we're doing it. We're going to go natural. We're all going to go natural. And we were just like pro-natural and against relaxers. And I remember our youngest sister, I think she only had like 1, maybe 2 relaxers. But once we got our hands in a book, we was pushing for our mom, like, Mom, do not relax her hair. Like, don't relax her hair anymore. So I think out of all of us, hers had the best fighting chance. And for her to like really, she's kind of grew up being natural and kind of appreciating her natural hair in a way that we never did, because us as older sisters were like, no, just stop the relaxers, we're not doing it no more. So we got everybody to stop in our family to stop doing relaxers. And then YouTube was a big thing. So we're talking about doing all of this around like 2009, give or take. I think it was like 17 when I found the book, 17. And then, so my sister, Shay's the Sage, she read the book and stuff about being natural, and she just, I don't even know how long you waited, Sheen, but she didn't wait that long before she did the big chop. Like, she was like, oh no, we're doing it, and like cut her relaxer off immediately. But I was I nervous about cutting it off and it being so short? I don't know. I think I knew, having done research and having watched YouTube videos and stuff, I knew that I could grow it out a little bit longer and then cut off the relaxer. So I did do the big chop. I waited at the end of senior year to do the big chop. So yeah, okay, so I was in cosmetology, and I remember it was senior year, and I just stopped relaxing my hair, y'all. And my one professor was like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? And she was so mad at me because I refused to take senior pictures. And I'm still not sure if I regret it. She told me that I would regret it. I don't even think I regret it. I don't think. But I refused to take senior pictures because part of the book was just like, you know, care for your hair. And I had stopped doing relaxers, and I did not want to flat iron my new growth in order for it to blend with my relaxer part. Like, I did not want to do that because I felt like it wasn't worth it. So I didn't want to mess up my hair. And I'm not sure if yet I had found a style that I really liked with the new growth and the relaxer that I thought maybe was picture worthy. Maybe that's why I didn't do it. So yeah, but oh my gosh, I remember she was so mad at me, and I was like, no, because I'm not flat iron my hair so that I could take a senior picture. And she was like, why would you do that? Why would you not get a relaxer? And I felt a little offended because obviously she's my cosmetology teacher, and you want her support because it's a hair thing, but she did not understand at all, and she was not for it. So she was so mad at me that day because I refused to take the senior pictures. So I didn't take the senior pictures. I wanted my hair to grow out for that rest of that year, and I kept my hair growing out, I think, for the rest of that year. And then I did not do my hair until graduation. So senior graduation, I did my hair, and I did flat iron it for senior graduation. And yes, and I loved it because it had grown so much. Now, I think, I want to say, maybe it was like right here, maybe, but evenly, like kind of evenly all around, and it looked nice, and it was my own, and I was so proud to like wear my own hair rather, for a special occasion. So yeah, I grew it out and I flat ironed it for senior graduation, and I was so nice, and everyone was like, oh, your hair's so nice, so pretty. I was like, oh, thank you, it's mine. Right? Because I didn't have any weave in, and I was super proud of myself because that was what I wanted to do anyway. Wore my hair out for graduation, and then we went to dinner for graduation. I kind of like touched it up right before dinner, although it didn't really matter because I think it was like humid or something that day, and because my roots were puffy because they were coming in natural, it was like, it wasn't as sleek, I don't think, for dinner. And I think graduations be hot, so I think it was puffing a little bit. And I remember my brother telling me, your hair is puffing up, but it still looked nice, but it was puffing up a little because I was starting to be natural. I wore it out for that whole day, and then I want to say I went home that night that we got back from graduation, and then I did the big chop that night, and I was like so proud of it for how it grew out and how nice it looked. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's get this journey started. So I went and I cut off all of the relaxer pieces. So that was nice that I got to cut it off. And then I just started kind of watching it grow out, like watching it grow out to see how far it was. And I remember, where's my mole? I remember it couldn't have been that long, the new growth, because I was using my mole as a marker, y'all. I would twist it down and be like, all right, we're at the mole, or we're a little past the mole, or we're to the eyebrow, until eventually it grew out a little bit longer. But yeah, I did the big chop. And that was how I was able to grow natural. And then at the time, you had so many people on YouTube. So many people on YouTube. I think the biggest ones we watched was Natural 85, Mahogany Curls, and I liked Alicia James because I felt like her hair was closer to mine. I felt like Mahogany Curls and Natural 85's curl was not as tight as mine. So yeah, so we watched them and we got some tips from them and learned how to do a whole bunch of stuff like twist outs and braid outs and all kinds of things like that. And then it was going natural that made me understand my hair a little bit better, because when you have a relaxer, everybody's hair looks the same, and I knew that my hair was sensitive to stuff, but I couldn't quite put my fingers on it. So when I went natural and I saw my curl compared to other people's curl, or compared to my sister's curl, then I was like, that's why that makes sense, because my hair, y'all, is extremely curly. And so when I was doing like, when I was natural in this channel, and I would call my hair 4Z, because it is really, really curly. And one thing that you have to know about curly hair is every time it coils, every bend in it is sensitive. Every bend is sensitive and prone to breakage. So for somebody like me who has a ton of bends in it, that means mine is super, super, super prone to breakage. Whereas somebody whose hair is a little bit looser, or their curls are just larger, their hair is not as prone to breakage, and they could do a little bit more stuff. I remember my sister, so we would go on kicks where we were like, we're not touching our hair, we're not bothering our hair, any of that type of stuff. And I remember my sister, when we first did flat iron our hair, while after being natural, she would like flat iron her hair, I think like every day or something. Like she would flat iron it like every day or every week. And so I tried that. I was like, let me try it. So that don't work for me. So when I tried it, mine instantly told on me. Like once was like, all right, you pushing it. And then when I would go back and do it, my hair would be so resistant to being flat ironed, and it would immediately start breaking off, like immediately. But that's because I'm taking extremely curly hair and completely changing its wave pattern from extremely curly to straight. And like I said, every time there's a bend in it, there's a lot of breakage. And I think that was the biggest eye-opener to like, you know what, I cannot do what everybody else does to their hair. So it took a while of kind of realizing that. And I know a lot of people are not big on hair typing, and I'm not big on hair typing as far as walking around and you gotta say and gotta know what kind of hair you have, but I am big on knowing what kind of hair you have. Because when we all started going natural, we were watching girls like Natural 85 and Mahogany Curls, and Natural 85 has a pretty good curl. It's not as curly as some, but she does have a curl. And then, but Mahogany's curls, her curl and her texture is a lot looser and finer than some people as well. So we were kind of thinking what works for one natural works for every natural, and that is not true. So I do think it's really, really important to kind of figure out what kind of hair you have and how do you care for the type of hair that you have. Let me get this question real quick. What do I think about people going back to relaxers now? I don't know. I feel like it kind of goes along with what I'm saying. I think that people watch other people do their hair and then they think, oh, I could do it just like them. And that is not true if y'all don't have the same type of hair. Now, everybody's hair is unique, and so if you're trying to follow a regimen of somebody's hair and it's not like yours, then you're not going to get the same results, whether it's for growth or whether it's for the style. You're not going to get the same results. And I think people were following people who don't have the same hair. Like, y'all don't have the same hair, so you can't do the same thing. And I think that going natural, we all had this great big promise of growing our hair to like these unbelievable lengths, which is true and it can be done, but for some of us it takes a lot more. Like, for example, like I said, with you and a flat ironing, you could do that and you can get away with it and your hair would still thrive, whereas I cannot. So that means that I'm not going to be able to wear certain styles that somebody else can wear, because for me, those styles will cause breakage, but for them, it won't. But the problem is flat ironing your hair every day healthy? No. But what happens is you get people who have nice hair or long hair and they do things that is not necessarily healthy, and then people try to follow those unhealthy things thinking that their hair is going to allow them to do it, and it doesn't. Then they get breakage and they just never reach those unbelievable lengths. Now, I do understand. So for me, before I got micro locks, my hair has been bra strap length. So when I went natural and it grew, then I grew it from like my chin, then I grew it to my shoulders, then it grew to my bra strap, but only if it was flat ironed, right? Because in its natural state, it just curls up so much, so you're not going to be able to see that as much because of how curly it is. But yeah, I think you have to kind of decide what is good for your hair and what is not good for your hair. And for me, like I said, I was able to grow to bra strap length, but then I started doing stuff like flat iron or whatever, and it broke off a little bit, and then I was able to grow it back to bra strap length, but all around like very evenly. But then coming from there, I was like, you know what? I think my hair was like 13 inches or something like that. Yes, 13 inches. But I don't know why, I just really wanted it to be 15 inches. So what I was going to do if I did not get locks, what I was going to do was put my hair in some kind of style, maybe like really large twists or something, and kind of leave it alone for like a year. Like wash the twists, take them out type thing, and leave it alone for a year. But see, that's not ideal. Like, I can get away with it because I'm going to wear head coverings anyway. But for people who's not wearing head coverings, that's not ideal, and not everybody wants to walk around with their hair in one style for months at a time, or cover their hair for months at a time just to see the growth. So I do understand that as well. I do understand that the curlier your hair is, the more temperamental it is. Like, the more you have to baby it and care for it, and sometimes that means leaving it alone. And so for me, I was going to have to go through the extreme measure of doing nothing to it and not having it styled just to see it grow past the length that it had always been. So you can reach these magnificent lengths, but sometimes for some of us it means leaving it alone. Now, you see a lot of people who do wear weaves and wigs. They understand that because they will do things like put their hair in cornrows or in large twists and then wear that wig or that weave for like 3 months, because it is a protective style. And so that works for them because they're wearing a wig or something, so your hair is still styled. But if you're not gonna wear a weave or you're not gonna wear a wig, for you to do that, it's kind of like you're gonna have to really finesse your scarves. Like you're gonna have to really finesse your scarves in order to make it work. But you would be able to grow your hair past the certain length that you want. All right, let me see. All right, Shades of Sage said, yes, I remember when we did that, I helped with growth, but I never, right. What is the fun of having long hair if you can't wear it out? Right. And that's with so many people, and I think that's why some people are going back to relaxers. Because they are like, my hair is temperamental. Like my hair will not let me do all the styles that I want to do and stay long. That's not everybody, but that is very true for those of us who have extremely curly hair. Because again, the curlier your hair is, the more susceptible it is to breakage. And that's why you see a lot of people with type 4 hair, our hair is usually balled up on itself. Yo, my hair literally, when my hair falls out, like when I see it in the sink and stuff like that, it literally is flat. It's not even, you know how some people's hair fall out and it's like a strand of curliness, like a long strand? Not me. My hair falls out and it will fall out in a flat coil, because that's how much it wants to bunch up on itself. So yeah, so that means I definitely can't do a whole bunch of stuff, not when it really wants to be flat and coiled up to my scalp. That's how it just really wants to be. So I think some people are going back to relaxers because they're like, man, I just want to style my hair. Now, do I think that we should know a little bit more about relaxers to maybe do it in a more healthier way? Yes. But do I personally feel like your hair will thrive as much with the relaxer than if it's natural? No. But do I also understand that some people are not as good or as skilled at styling their natural hair as maybe they are with styling when it is straight? Yes. So for some people, if they are not being as gentle and as tender with their natural hair, getting a relaxer, if their hair is not completely against it, might be better for them because they're not working against those kinks that are easy to break. So yeah, so I do understand that you don't want to put your hair in one style and then leave it that way and never see your hair out. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of up to you and what you want. So would you rather have your hair styled, or do you rather want to grow it to unbelievable lengths? And like I said, this is only really true for those of us who have extremely curly hair, because people with type 3 hair and people with maybe like a 4A, like whose curls are not as tightly coiled, they are going to be able to wear their hair out just a little bit more. Just a little bit more, because it's not as prone to breakage, so they can manipulate it a little more. Whereas those of us with really curly hair, we have to pick and choose. Is it worth manipulating it this time or not worth manipulating it this time? But yeah, I think that's pretty much my whole story. Let me see, is there anything I forgot? No, my hair when I went natural, loved it. It loved it a lot. Yeah, and the more I learned how to care for it and the more I learned how to be gentle with it, the more it thrived. So as long as I'm being gentle with it, it will start thriving. Anisha, I think that's how you say your name, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it says, I'm currently on a no-comb journey with my natural hair. My daughter started calling me Scarfy. But look, you got to do what you got to do, because we all have a length that our hair will grow, and then we all have like a terminal length. And then in order to get past that length, you got to do something different. It's like when you go on a diet and you've lost a few pounds, but then you got those last few 10 pounds or 15 pounds or whatever. Sometimes it's really, really hard to do it, and you got to switch something up to kind of like trigger your body to, no, I really want you to lose these last few pounds. Like you got to do something to kind of trigger it. That's what you have to do with your hair too. You can grow it to a certain length, but if it gets stagnant, then you got to switch it up. So maybe it is using no comb. When I was natural for the last few years of it, and probably like 3 or so, I didn't use a comb. I stopped using combs. I stopped using brushes because my hair did not like it. Like it would snag. As far as detangling. Sometimes I'll be watching people do their, like, detangle their hair or whatever after a shower or whatever when it's wet, and they use a comb or a paddle brush. It looks just so seamless to just do it. But for me, I could not. I had to finger detangle all the time. And I didn't use a comb unless I'm parting something. If I'm parting something, I'm using the back of a rat tail. So for me, I didn't do combs and I didn't do brushes. It was just an extra stress on my hair that it did not like. So I'd have to take the time to finger detangle it in order to get it detangled. And I became really good at it because, again, I'm good with, like, gripping stuff. So I was able to finger detangle it. But yeah, I couldn't use combs, I couldn't use brushes. And that just might be something that your hair wants you to do, or something your hair wants you to take a break on, and you will probably see good results if you're doing it right. And as long as you're keeping your hair moisturized, it's just one less bit of stress. Do I have a length goal for my locks? And I was just thinking about this too, because I need to get one of those shirts. I need to get one of those shirts that measure it. You know, I always wanted one of those natural shirts with the lines in it, but I have never got around to getting one. Do I have a goal length? No, I don't. I just want to see how long they can grow. I don't have a goal length. I know some people are like, if it gets to a certain length, I'm going to cut it. Like, they just don't want it to get to a certain length. I don't think I'm like that. Plus, I like hair. I love hair. So I don't think I'm like that. I'm kind of like, just grow on, little baby. Just grow on. Like, I don't think I will care what length it gets to, just as long as it's continuing to thrive. Then, yeah, that's all I want. I just want to thrive and see how long it can get. I have this vision of myself, and this is part of, like, what made me go natural. And yeah, like I said, I really love buns. That's, like, my favorite style. So I have this vision of myself with my hair all up in a bun, and then, like, kind of like a top, not a top knot, but, like, rolled like a top knot, but, like, really thick. Like, I just wanted one big thick bun right on the top and rolled around. And for it to do that, it's got to be pretty thick, because I want it to be a rolled one, not like a fold over bun, but like a rolled and a spiral bun. That's what I want. So when I get there, when I get that bun, that is a goal for me. So yeah, to do that bun where it rolls around. But yes, y'all, get your last questions in. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. But yeah, that's my story, y'all, and I'm sticking with it. That's my story. It took me going natural to realize what was causing my mom and my grandmom and everybody to stress over my hair, because it was extremely curly. And I'm not sure if my hair is fine. Like, I'm not sure if my hair strands themselves are fine. I really have to, like, take out a strand and compare it to someone else's to see. But I do know that it's extremely curly. And then, like I've always mentioned on this channel, going natural helped me see that too. I am allergic to a lot of stuff. So some stuff we was putting in our hair or putting in my hair that I was allergic to and maybe didn't even realize. I know for sure I cannot use coconut oil. I cannot use coconut oil. I cannot use castor oil, which are like the best things in the natural hair community. I can't use those, but I'm pretty sure some of the products that we were using back then were things were in it, like coconut oil or whatever, that I probably couldn't really use, and that too was irritating my scalp or my hair as well. So yeah, going natural was one of the best things I could have did. But I did enjoy the journey, and I think I was natural for like 10 years or so before I got locks. Yep, that makes sense, because if I went, well, maybe a little over 10 years, because I did my big chop when I was 18, and then I put the locks in, I think, at like 28, because coming September, I will be 2 years locked, so I can't wait for that. So stay tuned for that lock update when I am 2 years locked. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, so the moral of the story is learn your hair, and it will definitely start thriving, and understand that your hair is different from everybody else's. But yes, if you can find that book, go ahead and read it, grow it long. But I think I'm going to show it or talk about it more on this channel, because it gives out a lot of gems to natural hair and how you can care for your natural hair. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, comment, all that beautiful stuff. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hope to see you in the next one. Until next time, adios.